Earlier today, former President Trump, he called on the special counsel in his cases to immediately drop all charges against him, especially in the classified documents case, following news that Biden will not be charged.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that we learned today from special counsel Hur is that there is, in fact, and not that we didn't know it, Sean, two systems of justice. One if you're a Republican, one if you're a Democrat. We've seen it time and time again. You've spoken of it. But, you know, it's very obvious what's happening here. But I do want to thank special counsel Hur for making it very clear to the American public that this man can't even remember when his son was passed. And more importantly, Sean, did you see what he said today in the press conference? He doubled down on it and said, I didn't think I needed to answer that question. Well, that's another problem that we haven't spoken about.
This is the former president of the United States answering questions in a deposition about a rape he insists he never committed, saying of his accuser, E. Jean Carroll, she's not my type. Donald Trump shown this photo the moment he met Carroll in the late 1980s. When asked to identify the woman in the picture, Trump mistakes Carroll for his ex-wife, Marla Maples.
It's Marla.
You're saying Marla's in this photo?
That's Marla. Yeah, that's my wife.
Which woman are you pointing to? No.
Here.
Carol.
Oh,
the person you just pointed to was E. Jean Carroll.
Alina Habba continues to humiliate herself, not just in the courtroom, but during an on-air interview with, let's face it, her future employers, Fox News. Habba sat down with Hannity to demand that charges be dropped against Trump for mishandling classified documents because the DOJ decided not to charge President Biden.
All in an election year. How convenient.
It's 100% what it is. And I got to tell you, what I saw today was a lot like Miss James in New York. It's a similar fact pattern. It's the similar arrogance that you're seeing come out of it because they know they have these judges in their pockets and they have Soros backing or whoever it is, the Reid Hoffmans of the Democratic Party backing this. This is not what the courts are supposed to be used for, Sean. And it's disgusting. It's disgraceful. I really want to say to any of the judges that are out there listening that have anything left in terms of looking at the cases, looking at facts, looking at law, make our profession proud.
There's a judge that should be disbarred.
You worked for him. What do you, or, you know, for the White House, so you know him. What do you think about how she's handled the case?
I think she's handled it in the mafia way. She's done his bidding. She's articulated his political narrative of victimization and unfairness in the judicial system and made some outlandish claims, including the conflict claims. And she lost, so she's a loser. I'm not surprised that Trump is looking for appellate representation.
Of course, those of us paying attention, comparing the two is apples to oranges, or as one Fox News guest went off script and said, apples to dump trucks.
One thing they're forgetting that is so clear to me as an attorney is that, number one, President Trump has one thing that Biden, as Senator Biden, as Vice President Biden, didn't have.
First of all, I believe in the rule of law. I'm a former federal prosecutor. This is not apples to oranges. This is apples to dump trucks, because just like Vice President Mike Pence and Joe Biden totally cooperated with the DOJ versus what Donald Trump did. We had to get a subpoena to go into Mar-a-Lago.
They need to drop charges and let Americans believe that we're not going to be treated differently depending on our politics.
To recap the whole classified document issue in relation to President Biden, it was discovered during the investigation into Trump that both Biden and Mike Pence had classified documents in their residences in relation to the time when they were each vice president. So despite any evidence or any indication that either Biden or Pence intentionally withheld documents, Merrick Garland, in an attempt to seem non-biased, bent over backwards by appointing special prosecutors in each of those cases as well. Both of those special prosecutors came back with a finding that no crime had occurred, that the documents were not intentionally withheld.
And the president was in front of and on top of it all, asking questions and requiring that America's military and intelligence community and diplomatic community would figure out and know how many people were dead. How many are Americans? How many hostages? Is the situation stable? He was in front of it all, coordinating and directing leaders who are in charge of America's national security, not to mention our allies around the globe. For days, and up until now, months, So the way that the president's demeanor in that report was characterized could not be more wrong on the facts and clearly politically motivated, gratuitous. And so I will say that when it comes to the role and responsibility of a prosecutor in a situation like that, we should expect that there would be a higher level of integrity than what we saw.
The facts in those cases versus Trump are stark. Trump, upon receiving a request to return the documents, lied about the fact that he had them, whereas Biden voluntarily, without a subpoena, opened his residences to the FBI to search for any and all documents that might be in his possession. The difference between Biden and Trump is Biden made a mistake. Trump kept them on purpose, lied about keeping them, and tried to prevent the government finding them. Apples to dump trucks.
It also seems that he doesn't, and this has happened to him before, have a top-notch legal team with him. He has the one lawyer who he had to pay in advance because he stiffs everybody. And then he has Alina Habba, who gives a great cable news hit, and she's been on Jesse's show a bunch of times. But it seemed that she forgot, or just, I don't know what happened, to check the box saying that they wanted a jury trial. And then Donald Trump is complaining to the cameras and on Truth Social that it is un-American to have a trial without a jury when his own crackpot team asked for that.
Habba stooped to new levels of cruelty akin to her client by claiming Biden couldn't even remember his dead son. Meanwhile, conveniently forgetting her client wasn't able to distinguish between E. Jean Carroll, who evidently was not his type, and his own ex-wife, despite being shown a picture of E. Jean Carroll. She actually had to remind him.
You're sitting in an investigation. You have an obligation to answer truthfully and honestly. Today was just mind-boggling. The
person you just pointed to was E. Jean Carroll.
Trump continues to insist he didn't rape Carroll because of the way she looks, even after he confused her for his ex-wife. So her lawyer following up with this question.
The only difference between me and other people is I'm honest. She's not my type.
I take it the three women you've married are all your type.
Yeah.
Trump doubling down.
She's accusing me of rape. A woman that I have no idea who she is. It came out of the blue. She's accusing me of rape, of raping her. The worst thing you can do, the worst charge, and it never took place. And I will tell you, I made that statement and I said, well, it's politically incorrect. She's not my type. And that's 100% true. She's not my type.
It's cruelty on a new level because it's irrelevant to whether a criminal charge was appropriate against Biden. Elderly people are charged all the time and for far more serious crimes, even if their memory isn't perfect. No, instead, it's a chance to debase our public discourse even further and tarnish his image as a father. One of the things voters like so much about Biden.
There's some attention paid to some language in the report about my recollection of events. There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How in the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, wasn't any of their damn business. Let me tell you something. Some of you have commented, I wear since the day he died, every single day, the rosary he got from Our Lady of. Every Memorial Day, we hold a service remembering him, attended by friends and family and the people who loved him. I don't need anyone to remind me when he passed away.
MAGA knows this. Habba knows this. Being cruel is yet another thing we need to add as something that shouldn't be normalized under Trump.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.